Good evening. This is CTV News for Thursday, July 5th. I'm Denise Douglas. So glad you could join us this evening. Election workers have started counting provisional ballots. Upwards of 80,000 were filled out by voters. Now, once all the numbers are in, the ballots could make a difference in a number of close races here in Prince George's County, including some county council seats and General Assembly races. It's been a nerve-wracking morning for Crystal O'Rida as election workers count the provisional ballots.
I feel good. I feel like we've done an excellent job, my team just getting here.
She is one of several candidates locked in a close race. O'Rida is only 33 votes behind her opponent, Rodney Streeter, for the District 7 County Council seat.
I think you never go in expecting it to be this close, but what I'm excited about is that as an organizer and activist that we were able to do this and achieve this, just to be in striking distance when you're going against what is considered a political machine as a first-time candidate. So I'm really excited about the opportunity.
It's a little bit nerve-wracking.
Mary Lehman is ahead of Matt Dernoga for the District 21 delegate seat, but not by much.
I feel good about my chances overall, but I'm not taking anything for granted. It's why I came and sat here for 2 days last week. It's why I'm here again today. So we'll wait and see.
There are 80,000 provisional ballots that could alter the direction of things. These ballots were cast by voters who changed their party affiliation, address, or some other registration information, and now they have to be reviewed by election officials.
Provisional ballots are cast by voters whose name do not appear on the precinct register when they show up to vote. We give everyone an opportunity to vote, and then we verify whether they're registered or not on the back end of the process.
Elections Administrator Alicia Alexander says she has never seen this many tight races from a primary.
It's unusual in that there are 4 very close races this year. I have seen 1 or 2 historically. Many races were wide open. There was not an incumbent, and as a result, you had many more candidates vying for those seats.
By tomorrow, we could know who the winners are. So in the meantime, O'Rida and the other candidates try to keep their nerves at bay as they sit, wait, and hope for the best.
I'm thinking that it's here, this moment, that I've been waiting for almost a year, and we're going to kind of be at the end of a long journey, and then I'll be able to start a new chapter no matter which direction it goes.
She's got a really positive attitude about it all. Now, while the count is expected to be completed by tomorrow, there is a chance that it could go into next week. In addition, there are more absentee ballots that have to be counted. Some were counted last week, so we all just have to have lots of patience and wait for those final numbers. A moment of silence is held across newsrooms worldwide today to honor the 5 Capital Gazette employees killed last week in Annapolis.
Attention CTV staff, please join us in the newsroom for a moment of silence for the victims of the Capital Gazette shooting.
We here at CTV also paid our respects to the victims and spent some time remembering them. Bill McCarran, the executive director of the National Press Club, says the Gazette staff did a great job putting out a paper the next day. Alumni of the publication and other journalists have also reached out to help.
Journalists and 5 employees were lost. 3 were editors. That's a significant part of the DNA of the newsroom. So we are concerned about that. I think that the staff did a great job putting out a paper day 1, day 2, and so forth. They're running on adrenaline now. It's pretty hard to follow something like this that's so distracting and be able to be productive, but they're doing a great job.
Just wanted to acknowledge the Gazette victims and to acknowledge that although we're reporting locally, we can encounter dicey situations, dangerous situations, and we have to be careful.
And that, of course, is our boss, Curtis Crutchfield, giving us counsel on being careful as we move forward. According to the Baltimore Sun Media Group, journalists from the Chicago Tribune, the Allentown Morning Call, the Virginian Pilot, and more have all come to Annapolis to help during this time. Well, another story that we've been working on has to do with the heat because it can have deadly consequences. Patricia Vallone is on the news desk with more on that.
Hey, thank you, Denise. Well, this latest heat wave is taking a human toll. According to the Maryland Department of Health, 3 heat-related deaths have been reported in Prince George's. CTV's Sonia Srivastava has more.
Well, that's right. This is extremely disturbing news. Now, these numbers come from June 26th through July 2nd. And during that week, there were 2 heat advisories that were issued. And among the deceased are 2 a man and a woman in their mid-60s, and a male between the ages of 18 to 44. So what can we do to avoid this? Joining us now is Dr. Ernest Carter. He is with the Prince George's Health Department. Thank you so much for joining us here.
You're welcome.
Dr. Carter, this is very disturbing for you all.
Yes, it is. It's very disturbing. And one of the things that we find is that most people don't know the signs and symptoms of heat stroke. And so first thing you should know is that it happens to people who are vulnerable more than it does to people who are not vulnerable. And the vulnerable population for us is the elderly, and then it's the extremely young. And in between, people acclimate a little bit better, but still it can happen to them too. When you get heat stroke, when you're starting to get overheated, your skin starts to feel hot, you start to get a little bit of a headache, you can feel nauseous. And then one of the problems with all of this is that your body is heating up to about 104, temperature of 104 or greater. So all of your organ systems start to collapse. They start to deteriorate, your muscles, your brain, your heart, everything does. So you don't feel good at all. But most people just sort of keep going through that. And that's not good, because then your heart starts to beat faster, you're dehydrated. A lot of times when you have heat stroke, you'll have a seizure or you'll go into a coma. And these are all really bad. When you see somebody like that, that's a 911 call. That's a 911 call, and then get them into a cool place.
Some really good advice here from Dr. Carter. One thing we should mention is that when these heat advisories come in, Prince George's County opens a number of cooling centers all across the county, and those are free to residents, and in most cases are open late till the evening, sometimes even till 10 o'clock at night. So if you do see a heat advisory, it's a good idea to find out if there's a cooling center near you, and definitely check on those elderly residents and pets. At the health department, I'm Sonia Srivastava. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Sonia. Some good advice there. Well, Laurel police are investigating reports of anti-Semitic pamphlets found in several neighborhoods. This is the scene at the 400 block of Montgomery Street. Police say on July 2nd, residents called after finding anti-Jewish literature in the area and nearby on Prince George's Street.
So most certainly, if any more pamphlets are recovered or seen in any neighborhoods or yards, or any other material similar to them, they should call us, our Criminal Investigations Division, immediately at 301-498-8002. Our investigators are looking into this just to kind of figure out what is happening and get to the bottom of it.
And again, if you receive any literature like this, contact the Laurel Police Department. That number again, 301-498-8002.